morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Brewer with Station 44. Today we're going to go over tanker operations and rural water supply. All right, so this is tanker 44. It's a Pierce tanker, 3,000 gallon tank. Every morning when you check this thing out, you want to make sure it's full of water, of course. That's what its main primary job is for. I'll show you the inside here. This tanker is a little different. It's got a PTO driven pump. So when you start it up, you make sure your PTO is on rather than putting it in pump gear like an engine would be. The difference between this tanker and the other ones, like the older style, is we have cross lays, but we have no deck gun on this. So you can actually fight fire from this thing if you had to. Couple different discharges, and our large diameter discharge on the passenger side as well. So we can send 5-inch down the line. Something similar to our current engines that we have in play today is we have air primers on here as well. Something you want to check out when you're doing your morning checkouts, make sure you have your pony sections of 3-inch and 5-inch, along with your adapters that you're going to need. An important thing to have in your checkout is your hydrant bag. So make sure you have your gate valves, your adapters from Storts, a normal thread, mallet, spanners, and hydrant wrench. Important thing as well is make sure you have your cooler loaded and ice down for the day. It gets hot in Florida on these brush fires. With every tanker, there's hard suction on the tanker as well. It's a 5-inch hard suction with 6-inch connection. You should have 2 of those. Something we put in our tanker is a pike pole, so we can grab the low-level strainer out of the tank. Makes things a lot easier so you don't get all wet. An important thing to do when you're checking the tanker out is make sure you have plenty of water. Make sure you're topped off. Up here you have your sight. So make visual eyesight that you're full of water. So tanker 44 and all the new tankers nowadays all have manual chutes. So this will turn actually 180 degrees around. So if you're on the left side where your tank's at, or the right side, or directly behind you. To open this, you'll pop this down and pull this down as well. And this will lock in place as you're traveling. So your powered equipment rack is where your tank is stored. Make sure the power is on. And you can lower your tank down. And you want to make sure this goes all the way down every morning. Make sure it's functioning properly. To remove this tank, you'll need minimum of 2 people. 3 helps, 4 is even better. So it is pretty heavy. So a couple tools we have on the tanker. This is your jumbo Siamese. 2 in, 1 out. So you always want to make sure that your single side is always to the fire. So the benefit of having this is you can have multiple units come in and feed the attack pumper water. And how this works is a clapper valve. So this thing goes back and forth. Whatever pressure is higher will get to send the water down. Prime example would be when tanker 44 is running out of water, tanker 2 will come in and take over the pressure and keep sending water, so there's no disruption of water supply to the attack pumper. The next one is our high volume, low level strainer. So this is going to go into the bottom of your dump tank. So the benefit of having this jet siphon, it circulates water so you don't lose prime. Today we're going to walk through a rural water supply operation in an area with no hydrants available. We'll cover 3 key components: nursing operations using 5-inch hose, using a jumbo Siamese to combine multiple water sources, and establishing a drafting operation from a portable dump tank. The goal is simple: maintain a continuous, uninterrupted water supply to the attack engine. The first arriving engine pulls up to working structure fire and begins the initial attack using tank water. At this point, time is critical. The officer establishes command and immediately requests incoming tankers to support water supply. Because there are no hydrants, we need to quickly transition from onboard tank water to a sustained supply. As the first tanker arrives, we begin nursing operations. Tanker positions close to the attack engine and connects using a 5-inch large diameter hose directly into the engine's intake. This allows the tanker to feed water directly into the engine, extending operational time without interruption. The pump operator on the attack engine must closely monitor intake pressure, ensuring it stays positive and stable. As additional tankers arrive, we increase efficiency using a jumbo Siamese appliance. This appliance allows multiple tankers to supply the engine at the same time through a single intake. Each tanker connects their 5-inch line into the Siamese, combining their flow into one steady supply. This reduces delays between tankers and helps maintain a consistent water flow during high-demand operations. Clear communication between operators is critical here. So as you can see with this LDH, you lose a lot of water just trying to fill the line up. You lose about 1 gallon per foot. So a 100-foot section would be 100 gallons of water just to fill the line up. With nursing operations and drafting operations, you want to be mindful that you call law enforcement early to shut down the road for you, just so you don't have traffic coming through and running over your lines or impeding the flow of the tankers moving through. So the difference between nursing operations and drafting operations: nursing takes up a little bit less space than drafting because you do have the dump tank on the ground that's holding all your water. So you want to make sure that that lane is closed and the lane next to it for your tankers to move through. If the long-term fire scene progresses, we'll transition to a dump tank operation. While nursing operations are effectively early on, they are only a temporary solution. To establish a long-term water supply, we transition to a dump tank and shuttle system. One of the tankers breaks off and deploys a portable dump tank in a safe, accessible location. The dump tank is positioned to allow easy access for incoming tankers and the drafting engine. Tankers begin dumping their water into the tank either by gravity or jet dump systems. If multiple tanks are used, they can be connected with a jet siphon to increase total capacity. So as you can see here, we removed our steamer appliance and we're going with our hydro suction straight into the pump intake by using the mallet, a 2x4, to get the threads off. And then we also make sure that this is airtight so we don't have any leaks. We loaded 2 sections of hard suction into our low-level strainer. As I mentioned before, this low-level strainer has a jet siphon on it to help with keeping prime in your pump. Ideally, the attack engine would draft from the dump tank to provide water supply. However, some scenarios may not allow the dump tank to be deployed close enough to the scene for that attack engine to draft from. Therefore, a second engine may be assigned to draft and provide water supply to the attack engine from a distance.
Right now, Jeff is up there getting ready to back flush the hard suction. And what he's doing when he back flushes is he is taking tank water and expelling it through the intake into the hard suction to get rid of any air that's in the line, which will make it easier to pull the draft. And you can see here the bubbles. That's the driver expelling the air out of the hard suction. You notice the low-level strainer just sank all the way to the bottom. Now he's gonna open the discharge, throttle up, and you'll start to see the water get drawn into the pump. Now the whole principle behind pulling the draft isn't sucking the water. You're reducing the pressure in the hard suction and causing atmospheric pressure to push down on this water and force it up into the hard suction into the pump. If you look up at his deck gun, he has an effective fire stream. There's no air in the line. Got a good draft.
At this point, we've successfully transitioned from tanker-fed operations to a sustained water supply system. The attack engine now has a reliable flow, allowing crews to continue fire suppression without interruption. In the water shuttle system, tankers now operate in a continuous shuttle traveling between a designated fill site and the dump tank. The key to success here is timing and coordination, ensuring the dump tank never runs dry and the attack engine never loses water. A key consideration to add: if you are the engine assigned to the fill site, ensure that the hydrant is fully dressed and operational. Filling with 2 3-inch lines to the tanker will provide maximum water flow if possible. Remember these key principles. Water supply is the lifeline of the fireground. Use the jumbo Siamese to maximize efficiency. Establish your dump tank early. Don't wait until the tank runs out of water. And clear communication between all operators is essential. A smooth water supply operation directly impacts fire control and crew safety. An important consideration is that not all tankers are the same. In Hillsborough County's fleet of tankers, there are several different models, and how they offload their water supply can differ. Ensure that you are familiar with the differences with each one, especially if you are assigned to drive it during your shift. With proper setup, coordination, and communication, rural water supply operations can be just as effective as hydrant systems. Train on these techniques regularly, and your crew will be ready to deliver water anytime, anywhere.